Two men walked into a convention hall in Abuja on April 14th. One has run for president 7 times. The other built a movement that reshaped how young Nigerians think about politics. In 2023, they stood on opposite sides. Today, they are in the same party, and everyone is asking the same question. Can Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi actually share a presidential ticket, or is this coalition already cracking before it begins? Welcome to Political Pulse. Let's get into it. To understand why this pairing is so explosive, go back to 2023. Tinubu won with 8.7 million votes. Atiku came second with just under 7 million, 29%. Obi came third with 6.1 million, 25%. Combined, over 13 million votes, nearly 5 million more than Tinubu. On paper, the math works. But in Nigerian politics, it is never just about the math. Atiku's argument is stronger than many people admit. For over 2 decades, he has built political structures across the north, networks in Adamawa, Sokoto, Bauchi, Katsina, states where votes don't just count, they move in blocks. He won 12 states in 2023. And his camp's argument is simple. Nigeria still operates on an unwritten zoning principle. Tinubu is a southerner, so the opposition candidate, by that logic, should come from the north. For the old guard and the northern establishment wing of this coalition, that argument still carries weight. But the moment you make the case for Atiku, a critical question appears. Haven't we seen this before? Atiku was vice president from 1999 to 2007. 8 years at the top. What did that produce for the average Nigerian? Now make the case for Obi, and the same question returns. He governed Anambra State for 8 years. His supporters point to fiscal discipline and stability. His critics ask, if he was truly transformational, why is Anambra still struggling with the same structural problems today? This is not an attack. It is the exact line of argument Tinubu's campaign will weaponize from day one. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: Nigeria's political elite, across parties and decades, carries a collective accountability deficit. The Obidient movement understood this instinctively in 2023. They were not just voting for Obi, they were voting against a system that both Atiku and Tinubu in different ways represent. So the real question for 2027 is this: does that energy survive now that Obi is inside the establishment coalition? And this is where the tension becomes unavoidable. The Obidient position is clear. Obi leads any ticket he joins. Full stop. Obi himself has shown no interest in being a deputy again. Atiku's camp is not moving either. So who blinks? Because this is no longer just a negotiation. It is a test of ego, ambition, and political survival. And here's the real problem for the opposition, one they would rather not confront directly. If this government has been so bad, why are some of the numbers improving? Official data shows inflation has been trending downward for months. Foreign reserves have climbed. GDP growth is stabilizing. Even the IMF, not ASO Rock, projects continued growth into 2026. But here is the contradiction Nigerian voters are living with. Those macro numbers exist alongside one of the worst cost of living crises in decades. Your GDP can grow, while the person selling tomatoes in Onitsha cannot afford transport to market. Both things can be true at the same time. And that is the argument the Tinubu camp is preparing. We made painful decisions, so the system could recover. Don't change direction halfway through. For some voters, especially businesses and investors, that argument will land. The opposition has to respond to it. Right now, they haven't. And even if Atiku and Obi somehow agree tomorrow, there is a deeper problem. The platform they plan to run on may not even survive. The ADC has been locked in a leadership crisis. Two factions, one party, and a court battle that is still unresolved. INEC has effectively stepped back, refusing to fully recognize either side until the courts decide, which creates a real risk. The opposition could agree on a candidate and still have no viable platform to run on. So where does this leave us? Three realistic scenarios. 1. A deal is reached. One man leads. The courts resolve the ADC crisis in time. The opposition enters 2027 united. 2. No agreement. Egos hold. Votes split again. And Tinubu wins comfortably. Same film, different year. 3. The ADC collapses in court. The coalition scrambles to another party with less time and more fractures. Nobody knows which outcome wins. That is the honest position. The Atiku-Obi pairing is the most powerful opposition combination Nigeria has seen, on paper. But voters are not naive. These are not new faces. They are familiar names, operating in a system Nigerians no longer fully trust. This is no longer a question of mathematics. It is a question of trust. And Nigerian voters have been here before. Drop it in the comments. Does the opposition deserve your vote in 2027? And who should actually lead this coalition? We read every single one. Next week, the wild card from Kano. The man both sides are quietly watching, and who may hold the balance of this entire coalition. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who thinks 2027 is still far away. It is not.